We do not know the source from which the UFOs or alien beings have come, whether or not, for example, they originate in the physical universe as modern astrophysics has described it. But they manifest in the physical world and bring about definable consequences in that domain. The great majority of abductees have had vivid and powerful, meaningful sightings of UFOs at some time in their lives, although they may not see the outside of the spacecraft during a particular abduction experience. In virtually every case, there are one or more concrete physical findings that accompany or follow the abduction experience, such as UFO sightings in the community, burned earth where UFOs have landed, and independent corroborations that the abductees' whereabouts are unknown at the time of the abduction event. Unexplained or missing pregnancies, a variety of minor physical lesions, odd nosebleeds, and the recovery of tiny objects from the body of the experiencers are also widely seen. Often these findings are subtle and difficult to prove by the methods of empirical science. They must, therefore, be seen as secondary evidence in support of what the abductees have reported. The sheer consistency and number of these accompanying physical findings make them too important to dismiss. The greatest mass of data comes not from the physical findings, but from the reports of the experiencers themselves. Although varied in some respects, they are so densely consistent as to defy conventional psychiatric explanations. Abductees may be found to have had virtually lifelong encounters with alien beings and UFOs, though in certain cases, a single abduction event has been of particular importance. The abduction experience begins with a shift in consciousness on the part of the abductee, which may be signaled by a hum or other odd sound, by the appearance of a light for which no usual source can be found, by the sense of a presence, or even the sight of one or more alien beings, or by a strong vibratory sensation in the body. This change in consciousness may be subtle, but abductees are always sure that they are not dreaming or imagining. Rather, they experience that they have moved into another reality, but one that is, nevertheless, altogether real. This is a waking reality, but a different one. As one abductee described this shift to me, it is as if the alien beings break through a kind of screen, revealing a new reality to the experiencer. After this, the experiencer is taken by some force, often a beam of light or some other energy at the disposal of the alien beings, out of or away from the house or other place they have been, through walls, doors, or closed windows, if necessary. Experiencers may see their home and the earth itself recede before them as they are transported into a spacecraft, which is commonly described as metallic and saucer or cigar-shaped, and which is revealed to be the source of light that they saw initially. Once inside the craft, the abductees see varying numbers of alien beings who are engaged in a rather businesslike way in preparing to administer various procedures. The inside of the craft is generally rather cold, emotionally and physically, sometimes with a musty smell, with computer-like consoles on the walls. The walls tend to be white and curved, although black floors are sometimes described, The procedures have a medical or surgical-like quality, but the instruments used do not resemble those which we are familiar. Gazing, staring, and mind scanning, and other telepathic communications of various sort on the part of the aliens often occur initially. Abductees tend to feel that the content of their minds are thoroughly revealed to the aliens. After this, there are various procedures administered under the control of a slightly taller and older appearing alien, spoken of by abductees as the doctor or leader. Although this figure may be resented by the experiencers, he is often familiar to them from abductions going back to childhood, and they may feel a strong bond, even intense love toward him, which they sometimes feel is reciprocated. The procedures include taking small tissue samples, probing of the head, which is usually felt to be related to taking information from the brain, monitoring the state of being of the experiencer, and inserting or removing implants, and the insertion or application of odd instruments into or onto other parts of the body, including reproductive organs. Sperm samples are forcibly taken from men, and women experience the removal of fertilized eggs, which may have been genetically altered, are implanted, and later there is an eventual removal of the pregnancy. In subsequent abductions, experiencers are shown hybrid offspring and even asked to hold or nurture them. As children, they may have been asked to play with these odd creatures who may appear listless by our standards. All of this is quite terrifying to the experiencer, although the level of terror is modified by some form of anesthetizing energy that the aliens administer with their hands or rod-like instruments. Other sexual and reproductive activities may be brought about by the aliens, who seem especially interested in the sexual and emotional aspects of our lives. When the experiences are recalled consciously or during hypnotic regression, the abductee goes through an emotional reliving of great intensity and power. Otherwise, quite controlled individuals may writhe, perspire, and scream with fear and rage, or cry with appropriate sadness, as they remembered their abduction experiences. This emotional expression appears altogether authentic to those who are unfamiliar with the abduction phenomenon and witness it for the first time. For myself, being with abductees who are going through these experiences requires every bit of holding energy and caring presence that I can muster. There has not, as yet, come to my attention in any case an alternative explanation for the trauma of the abduction experiences that my clients are reporting in such overwhelming and vivid detail.